Mm-hmm. Blip.
Recording.
Hello, Pebbles across
Alright.
all platforms. Welcome to today's podcast, episode 72. Today we are talking about anime, more specifically shonen and Bell.
What's for lunch today? I've been nomming on it before it gets warm, oddly. These are salmon dill cream lettuce wraps, courtesy of Lady Stone. Once again, they are delicious, my love. Thank you so much. Also, we're starting a keto diet, and so we're trying to get more svelte. So, that will be good. um, anyways, how many chapters in are we with the Zatchbell sequel, Andy?
I think 32 or something like that.
32. Yeah, I figured.
Yes.
Especially with Raikou producing these monthly.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad he's doing this outside of the auspices of like Toei Animation, because here is my bet what would have happened if Toei Animation had like commissioned the sequel, right? My bet is they invalidate everything. They would just want another Battle to Become King. They would be like, have it so where like the rules of the whole battle just got invalidated, and they have to do it all over again. And basically, you have the same characters going through a lot of the same things, but just older. It's like that would be so horribly disappointing and not worth reading, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Toei Animation would do this because of how much they want to just keep a lot of shit like status quo. It's just it's just how a lot of networks really work. To be honest, the status quo is god to them. Yeah, at least I think so. I mean, what do you think they would have done?
I really have no idea. I don't think they would have even touched the show, to be honest.
Probably not. That's the other thing. That's the main reason there's no talks of an anime is because they let their rights expire. So now Raikou does have the right to shop around, basically, if he wants to make it into an anime again.
Yep, you're gonna have to ask somebody.
But maybe, it's his choice ultimately, If he wants to just tell his story, and whether it becomes an anime is, if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Then that's entirely his choice,
Something like that.
And that is why I respect the hell out of him as an artist, because he wants to tell his story the way he wants to tell it. And again, this is where he just has so much integrity as an artist, and I respect it. But let's see. Nate, I guess your favorite shonen definitely has to be Dragonball, yeah?
Well, I suppose, yes. I mean, I think it's the only like fully shonen anime that I watched, because One Punch Man is kind of like shonen parody, so it doesn't really count.
It's it's a parody, so it's in the brand of seinen.
I don't know what
Especially given all the
Cyan is, but okay.
Well, basically, there's different anime genres, and shonen is basically, for effectively just for kids in Japan. It's for ages 8 to about 12. or 6 to 12, and it's your typical shonen premises. Main character, largely going on PG adventures, maybe a little bit of risque stuff, but you can't exactly see it. Typically the animation styles are more rounded, rather than, and the themes are meant to be very simple, like just basic good and evil type stuff.
Mhm.
Where seinen anime, like One Punch Man, this is where themes get a bit more psychological and certainly mature, because as we know, the monsters and villains are not the main threat in One Punch Man. The main what is it, my love? Oh, the Nintendo Switch thing. It's okay. But the main threats in One Punch Man are not just the monsters; it's just institutional incompetence from the Heroes Association.
Oh yeah.
And that the institutional incompetence in and of itself is a threat, and in order to understand it, you need to have a more nuanced understanding of institutional politics inside of a big organization and everything, like the Heroes Association, aka you probably need to have spent some time in the work world. Thus, seinen is for ages 15 to 30.
I see.
Yeah, which is why if you've spent time in the work world, you relate to Saitama a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad sometimes when you relate to Saitama, especially when he's at his lowest.
Poor baby.
Yeah, because Saitama does actually suffer from depression.
Mm-hmm. Pretty clear.
But with going back to Zatch Bell for a bit, Andy, a lot of mature themes are kind of woven into Zatch Bell a little bit, with the way the battle is formed, and on top of this, a lot of things that Zatch has to endure to try to become king. In terms of, because why initially his goal was to outright do away with the battle, but instead he decided against it, because ultimately he realized it did shape him into who he is.
In a way, yeah.
I mean, yeah, when you think about it, with any ruler, they have to know how to make alliances. They have to know how to, delegate authority. They have to know how to do all of these things. And the battle taught him how to do all of these things. Which means any future ruler of the Momoto world would also have to know how to do these things. Now, the question is, how's this impacted with the whole transporting to the human world thing and everything? And it's like, is there still going to be another battle in 984 years or 986 years? That's another question.
Maybe something like that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a question Raikou would have to answer if, by the time they finish dealing with the whole demon threat and the sorcerers, do they have to have another battle because technically their magic initiated another one?
Hey, does the author respond to fan questions sometimes? Because you could ask him if he does.
Raikou does have Twitter, but I think you'd have to phrase it in Japanese. That would be a good thing to look at.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it, you two nerds.
Actually, yeah, let's just do this.
Zatch Bell nerds.
Hey, we're all nerds here.
Yeah, but I'm into different nerd things than you are, so I still get to poke and laugh at you.
Are you more of a Dragon Ball nerd or a One Punch Man nerd?
It's difficult. I would say they are about equal. Yeah. I'm still like, I'm still haven't like, checked back with the One Punch Man manga, which I should do, even though like, I don't
At the
like
moment,
the current like arc. I guess I would have liked it if it would come like earlier. Because look, like getting like some backstory stuff on Sonic and Flash is nice. It helped me like, like Sonic and even Flash a bit more. But again, like the current
right?
stakes in the manga, they're just like we don't have like time for a breather, like and like even if it would be take like a breather, it's just this is the wrong time. I think that how I feel about it is how I felt with the Degasu episode in Daima. I think this arc would be just skippable, just get a summary from someone who has
What
read
the
it
whole
or watched it.
the Neo Heroes arc
No,
and
no,
One
no, no,
Punch
no,
Man, or
not the. Okay, I guess yeah. That's why it feels so out of place because we are right now supposed to deal with the Neo Heroes, but suddenly we are with Sonic and Flash out of the blue and the Ninja Village. Like, eh.
I think that is something Murata is fleshing out, because I didn't see the whole Sonic and Flash thing in the webcomic at all.
Mm.
So I think this is something that Murata is fleshing out to flesh out the One Punch Man world a little bit.
And again, it's nice,
After
but
that fight,
out of place right now.
which it's not terribly out of place. It did drag on a little bit. I will say that. Let me see. Yeah, it did drag on a little bit, and then Blast got involved, and it was a whole thing, and
Yep.
it was definitely a little. Like I said, it wasn't out of place. It just kind of kept going a little longer than it should, maybe. When, again, we need to keep our focus on other things.
Yeah.
And the focus, is on the Neo Heroes and what should be going on there. Now, to be fair, I think that the probably lag there is how one is creating the webcomic and a current arc going on there, and Murata basically has to wait on that. And so if he's waiting, he's going to flesh out another character's story a little bit more.
Mhm.
I think that's typically the direction he tends to go with the manga. Now, there are definitely some of my, I would say, least favorite parts of the Zatch Bell story. And to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the Ancient Momoto arc. I felt it drug on a little bit. I mean, Andy, what's your thoughts on the Ancient Momoto arc?
I mean, I like it. I thought the fights were good. I thought the characters were good. I really liked Layla and Pamoon.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It can be good, but at the same time, there are, like I said, areas that kind of drag on just a little bit too long. You know what I mean? Like, on top of this, it does strain credulity a little bit. The idea that Gorin managed to turn 40 Momotos to stone is like, okay, how the hell do you do that? One.
He was really strong.
And two,
he was like Raikou said that he was like the clear of the previous battle. Going.
I guess so, and Zatch's dad had to defeat him. Now that is something I do want a bit more.
It wasn't just Zatch's dad; it was him and his friends that got together and to defeat him.
Yeah, I would like more fleshing out on all of them and how they did that with Gorin, and if that's going to, lead into anything in the future, because that is one thing Raikou does need to elaborate. Now, I get why he doesn't do that. It's to keep a little bit of mystery in the world, because it allow you to do some guesswork for yourself. Because honestly, a world that is like completely fleshed out in terms of like there is just nothing left for you to guess on is boring as hell.
Well, I think
Like-
that the author can have it, like, obviously fleshed out, but how much they reveal about it, that's the, like, that's the point.
Yeah. I mean, Dragon Ball, its world is pretty well fleshed out. I mean, we know supercontinent and a lot of the notable areas of the world, but at the same time, the way the OG Dragon Ball played out, there was just enough mystery to where things could happen. And this is why I kind of don't like how the power scaling happened in Dragon Ball, to where it's like it revealed way too much to where it's like, well, now I don't really want to see what goes on around Penguin Village or anywhere else, because it's like, well, now you've made that kind of low powered and not as fun to explore. You know?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like why do I care what Arali is up to when, again, I'm more invested in what Goku and Vegeta and all them are up to, I can barely hear both of you.
Where does what does Sarah think about it?
What,
Yeah,
Dragon Ball?
Fucking sucks.
Well, I think you like the OG series, but Z is where you started, kind of trailing off and like.
Even like the OG series.
Oh, really?
I just tolerated it because you forced me to watch it.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. But I guess of the three series, that's the one you can probably tolerate the most.
No.
No? Probably they're all equal for you.
Let me put it this way, Dave.
Mhm.
If you wanted me to watch the Dragon Ball series again,
Uh-huh.
I would OD on my pills.
Oh. Okay.
Like, I have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that, or I'd rather pick up the phone and call my dad
Oh, geez.
and ask him how his day is.
Okay.
So if you told me, choose between calling your dad or watching Dragon Ball, I'm going to choose my father.
Okay. I get that. All right. And, yeah, needless to say, she don't like it.
No, it fucking sucks. The characters are stupid. There's no fleshed out characters where you're going, wow, this is really deep. This is more like just watching basically a special needs kid running around in a man's body and getting into fights because he has to prove he's the strongest, and that's all he hyper focuses on, and you're going, this is incredibly sad.
Well, again, like I said, it's meant to be more simplified for kids of younger ages. That's the whole point.
Even as a kid, when I watched an episode, I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If your, standard deviation of IQ is a bit above, you might find it stupid. But this is why.
At 12 years old, my IQ was rated at 112.
Yeah, then it might have been a bit too smart for you. Or rather, you might have been too smart for it.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
don't think I was...
Yeah, I'm not sorry. I got my wording wrong there. And what's that in general? I think Nate's looking for comic memes. Did Nate post comic memes? Let me take. Oh, okay. Nate's out. Okay.
Why is he out?
Nate's mother is there.
Huh?
Anyways,
Nice.
Anyways, this is why we definitely can appreciate more complex storytelling. And on top of this, I might have spoken on the arcs of different anime, but even shonen anime has gotten a bit more complex. Though I feel like in My Hero Academia, Horikoshi has dropped the ball, and I think it is due to basically burnout. Because the whole plot of Midoriya losing One for All is the biggest extreme what of any shonen anime I've ever seen. Because at that point, it's like, you don't call it One for All, you call it All for What? Am I right?
I never cared.
I mean, you
I've
heard
never
about that.
cared for My Hero Academia.
I mean, I like it for the premise. The premise is really interesting. But it's just there are frustrating decisions that Horikoshi has made. Like, so does the hero Star and Stripes in My Hero Academia sound familiar to you?
Nope.
Okay, I'll explain this. So, but are you familiar with how the quirk system works effectively in that world?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so her quirk is called New Order. She is America's #1 hero. New Order basically makes it so that if she touches you and knows your name, she can effectively reorder reality around her and her opponent. Basically, whatever she says as a rule, and she is limited to 2 rules, granted, whatever she says is as it goes. And if she doesn't know your name, she can know someone else's name and touch them, or if she has touched them, she can make a rule that applies to herself, which means she can enhance herself, super strength, super speed, super reaction time. So even without any rules present, she's basically Captain America in terms of like strength, speed, reaction time, all that stuff, and even somewhat of a healing factor. Now, you'd think that power basically makes her invincible upon hearing that description, correct?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the ability to just basically rewrite reality and tell your opponent, you're going to have a heart attack if you take one more step closer to me, yeah, that basically makes you invincible. But the problem is that the main villain, Omura Shigaraki, got the biggest fucking plot armor ever. Because he had All for One's quirk injected into him, he was having an identity crisis. Basically, he didn't know who he was. He didn't know whether he was Tomura Shigaraki or All for One. And so because of this, it created a loophole in Star and Stripes' quirk. Star and Stripes' quirk, target has to be sentient and recognize the name that they're being called. Ergo, because he didn't recognize his name as Tomura Shigaraki, he loopholed out of her quirk and managed to actually dissolve her. And it's like, holy fucking shit, that is the biggest fucking plot armor for a villain ever. It's like, that is so categorically unfair, it's unbelievable. And especially because I think this was the pressure that was given. Like, again, this goes back to what I think are some pressures manga artists are given. He had to create a plot line that kind of teased America in My Hero Academia a little bit more, but he couldn't have an American beat the main villain. Because, like, even though, realistically speaking, yeah, America would, and based on the rules he set up, America's #1 hero would absolutely stomp some random villain from Japan. Like, no question about it. You know? And so, he had to make it so that she lost. And even fans to this day find that frustrating. Like, that Shigaraki got the biggest plot armor in that fight ever. And then, again, this goes back to those pressures, and I'm glad Raikou is not under, because, I mean, I think there were a few decisions that, back when he was, you know, when Zatch Bell was being animated by Toei Animation, he probably was under a little bit. Because there were, like I said, a few things that dragged out in the Ancient Mamoto arc that were not as compelling. And I don't know, I feel like a little bit of the build-up to the Fado arc was a bit dragged out as well. Like, I don't hate Rain as a character, I like him. But I feel like Rain and Kyle's arc was dragged out a little bit too long, don't you think?
It was dragged out in the anime more than in the manga, and the anime dragged it out a little bit.
Yeah. And the same with Coral Q a little bit.
Oh yeah, Coral Q. They extended that shit annoyingly. Yeah, they extended Coral Q a lot as well, yeah. That was annoying.
What, do you not like
No,
Coral Q?
it's not I dislike him, I just dislike what Toei did.
yeah, like I said, they kind of gave him his a whole fucking song and dance number that he did 3 times. He did one in every episode. And I
that's why you
think
need a
they did
new anime for Zatch Bell instead of current one.
Yeah.
Instead of the
Instead of
current one, we need a anime.
That is a big question. You know, whether we do a not only redo dub, but we, you know, commission a completely new series at some point. One that's less censored and more, I guess, open to new ideas and everything. Because on top of this, a lot of anime stuff in the anime, I guess the question is, did he make it filler or was he pressured, or rather, did he make the filler canon because he wanted to or because he was pressured to? What do you think?
What are you referring to?
Like how he made Hyde and Ido canon.
No, he didn't make Ido canon, he just made Hyde canon.
Right, so but if Hyde is canon, then that means Ido's canon too. It's just that according to the proper canon, he didn't show up on the rooftop in the opening.
Yeah,
arc.
it's true, yeah.
Yeah. Because with every Momoto and book owner, I've laid this out in my sort of philosophy of Zatch Bell video, how their personalities are opposites. And they're opposites intentionally. Basically, in order for a Momoto to, grow, they have to interplay off their book owner, and their book owner has to grow too. This is why Raycom and Hosokawa came in dead last, because there was no growth for them. They just accepted their little relationship there, or the codependent, parasitic relationship that it was, and obviously there was not going to be any growing from that. I mean, and that's the main thing. It's like, this is where, Wanrei and Ien, believe it or not, despite the fact that they're in love, they're opposites in a lot of ways. Wanrei is more quiet and reserved, where Lien is more, loud and outspoken. And on top of this, Lien is more passionate, where Wanrei tends to make more logical decisions. It's the same thing that goes for Megumi and Tia. Tia is fiery and passionate, yet Megumi is calm and, a bit more reserved.
Yeah.
And as I pointed out, Tio is logical, intelligent, analytical. Zatch is idealistic, but dumb. This is why Zatch has to surround himself with a lot of people who are smarter than him. Because this is, again, I'm so glad that Raikou carried Zatch's growth into the sequel, because Zatch is, he acknowledges more, he's a lot more self-aware. He is self-aware of his shortcomings. And so, yeah, his goal is to surround himself with people who know more than him and can call better shots than he can, because he acknowledges, I might have this tremendous power within me, even if we get all of our spells back, but I'm not going to be able to, strategize here by myself. I've gotten by as king by allowing other people to call the shots. Again, this is where like I said, it goes back to delegating authority. And this gets me to another character we need to learn whether or not they're alive. Arth. I think he died in the opening battle.
We don't know. I would assume so.
Yeah, he doesn't seem the running type, or did. He would try to make sure everyone is safe, but if we haven't seen him by now, I'm going to assume he probably died in the opening battle protecting people.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
What does Sarah think about Zatch Bell?
She's not a big fan, but she's willing to help me out with it.
That's good.
Yeah. She's actually going to be Ponygon for
oh my god.
the episode. Yeah, we're almost finished with it, and she's also going to be Cherish, and she fits both those parts
Oh
fairly
my
well.
god. Yo, Sarah's gonna say Meta Meta May. Oh my god.
Yes, you'll hear
I
it.
like the sound of that. Meru Meru May.
Yeah, Andy likes the idea that you're going to be Ponygon for Zach Bell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's like, oh, you want to be petted? Okay, I could pet you.
You wish. I'll be able to be fluffy.
This guy's been getting jealous again.
No, I'm not getting jealous. I'm getting defensive. But what you having?
By the way, so how are you? What chapter are you on? Like, how far are you in the series?
For the sequel, I need to, like I said, I need to pick it back up and do reaction videos again. I think my literal last reaction video was the chapter I was at. So I think 20. So I need to pick it back up from 21 and keep going. Maybe do a 21 through 32 action video, or maybe wait till the next chapter comes out and do 21 through 33. And then on top of this, we need to get back on our manga dub as well, because like I've laid out, we're only going to be able to probably have the episode, the new episode up on YouTube for about 2 weeks before I have to private it, and then it's Odyssey and BitChute and Rumble exclusive.
Yeah.
And then clips, and it's frustrating. It's infuriating that YouTube's system works like this, but it is how it is, and more than likely, there's been discussions about whether or not Microsoft is going to buy Rumble. They're not entirely sure yet. If they do, you can bet more than likely some similar copyright system is going to come to Rumble. But we'll see.
Also, the
main reason.
Also, tabletop.
Huh? Oh yeah, I need to get tabletop as well. We're catching up on a lot of our finances now, so we'll look into that, and I don't know, maybe we'll take a look here at how we want to order that and everything.
Also,
but
I'm gonna say, have you thought about dedicating a day of streaming to some of the old Zatch Bell games?
Maybe. Because like I said, I finally got Dolphin configured correctly on my big computer. The only problem is I can't really stream from my big computer. So I'll have to push that configuration over onto my laptop and see if that configuration will carry.
And
if so,
it should. I have Dolphin on my laptop, so.
Right. So I'll have to see if that configuration carries as well. And then on top of this, I think I have a older controller I can plug in and use as a controller for Dolphin as well. Because I honestly, after testing some of the games, I do not like using a keyboard for those games. Those games are meant for a controller.
Yeah, because they were made with a controller in mind, not with a keyboard.
Yeah, I do not like using a keyboard. Now, in terms of, I guess, what other things we're going to do for the channel, I got this idea, but because Pokemon is effectively what is called evergreen content, basically meaning, when you think about this, right, half the population of practically the entire world knows about Pokemon. I mean, really think about this. If you are between the ages of 5 and 45 now, chances are you have played a Pokemon game or have interacted with Pokemon in some way. Right? Because if you're 45 right now, you were born in 1980. Pokemon came out in let me take a look here. When did Pokemon come out for the Game Boy?
In
Yeah,
America, it was
let's
like
look that up.
98 or something like that.
Let's see. Pokemon Red release date. February 27th, 1996. So, now, if you were born exactly in 1980, yeah, maybe, only really fucking nerdy 16-year-olds got into it. But, if you were born, say, in
For millennial.
1980,
Millennials, basically.
yeah, only the oldest millennials would not know about Pokemon, or were like, oh, that's dumb, that's for kids, by the time it came out. But, more millennials more in the middle, from like 1996 to my birth year, 1991. Yeah, of course we fucking grew up with Pokemon. I was 5 years old when it came out.
I'm curious what Sarah thinks about Pokemon.
Yeah. I think she likes playing it, and she likes the designs of a lot of the Pokemon. But otherwise, yeah, she doesn't really care that much for
Fair
it.
enough.
Yeah. I mean, that is the thing. It is a very, very approachable IP. That's just how Pokemon is. It is very approachable in terms of an IP, and it's, like I said, evergreen content. You can pick it up and play it whenever you want. But basically, that being said, because shorts are constantly trending and people are, more or less on TikTok, I'm going to be voicing effectively Pokemon comic memes, so that way it's just something that hits the algorithm, and because it's low effort, easy to make, easy to produce, it'd be just something I could put out every day. And it's cynical, it's frustrating, but that's how it be. It's like, you can hate the algorithm all you want. You can say, well, the algorithm shouldn't work this way, and it's like, yeah, granted, true, but the algorithm's going to work that way whether you like it or not. You can't tell a multi-billion-dollar company to change how the algorithm works, because they're like, no, this is what has made us the most money, and we're not changing that. Yeah, so you try to make something that appeals to literally half the population of the entire world. And yeah, I think Pokemon is a global brand, isn't it, when I think about it?
More or less, I guess.
I'm back. What did I miss?
Nate, I am going to be doing Pokemon memes, or rather voicing them, to try to have daily content effectively.
Okay.
So if you can find some for me to voice on a daily basis, that would be good.
I will try.
What? Yeah. Do you have any comic memes for me to voice for this session?
Let me take a look. See.
Yeah, Nate or Andy,
No,
do you
I
have
don't
any?
have any.
We'll try to find some. Because do you have to
Yeah,
go
I'm
soon?
actually about to say I gotta get going.
Okay. Do you have any comic memes you can find for me before you absolutely have to go?
I wouldn't know where to look. I don't.
Okay, we'll try to bring some for the next stream, but you gotta get going now.
If I'd like to, yes.
Okay. All right then.
Okay.
See you later.
I'll see you later, man.
Bye
All right,
bye.
peace.
Yeah. Take care. Where's that button? There it is.
Okay. Yeah, I am not. I'm not. Wait.
Well, while you're looking, I'm gonna do effectively also a mini meme review,
Actually.
because I'm just.
Okay. Wait, no, you don't have a Pinterest account, so you wouldn't be able to open the
I do
spin.
not.
Well, actually,
No.
maybe you will. Maybe you will.
Copy paste them as images and put them in memes.
I'm on phone. It's gonna be like I would have to download it.
Save the image.
What?
Okay, let's see if I can check Pinterest from my computer. Oh, I actually can.
Good.
So, I have this hazardous scales attacked. That is completely unfair. Asleep, burned, and poisoned? How is that fair if it lands?
Well, it will land. It will always land.
Well, how? So it does all that with a 100% accuracy rating.
I mean, yeah, it's the TCG. There is no accuracy. Only when the attack says to flip a coin, if tails, this attack does nothing. That's basically like missing in the game, but you know.
That is completely unfair.
It's called the be annoying as shit strategy, one of which I definitely want to build a deck around. It actually won me an online game against a game like Charizard EX or V or whatever, but yeah, hacking tortured that.
Bruh. That's still like holy shit. I'm finding more memes, but yeah, so I've decided to do that for shorts and everything because Pokemon is basically evergreen content. And like I said to Andy, when you think about it, people from ages 5 to 45 living today have had interactions with Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, it's an interesting thing when you think about it. Whether you're like me and your first interaction was it when you were 5 years old and you're it's Pokemon Red and or if you're, let's see, 5 years old today and you're, what's the current Pokemon iteration?
Generation 9, Paldea.
Yeah. Generation 9, and it's going to keep going until I think the manga author is dead, and probably a bit after that too.
They don't care about the manga.
Well, yeah, so they don't even need it to make Pokemon stuff, so it's going to go on long.
I think the manga is like second to the games, actually. Like, you know, the games are first and foremost. Anything else is side content.
Oh, yeah. But anyways, I have the memes I found. Are you still looking for
I sent one more, yeah.
Okay. Oh, and you put them in memes chat.
No.
Yes.
No, it's our special, like, you know, like I gotta. I guess.
Okay, you are having a mental breakdown in the Pokemon universe. Have 50% chance of having your spine broken. I can't quite read this.
Or getting an egg.
Oh, pfft. That's funny. We'll go ahead and do my memes. Excuse me. Come on. Okay, so the first meme is when your parents come downstairs at 3 a.m. and find you finishing your 4th bag of shredded cheese, and you have Koala Mario. It's like,
oh, stars,
I guess that's
cursed.
Yeah, it's cursed, and it's like, what? 4th bag of shredded cheese.
Look.
And then it's naming.
That shit is good. Okay.
Naming. And then naming Link my dude turns everyone you meet into a very chill bro. So you have the great Deku Tree going, my dude, welcome. That you would leave the forest someday, my dude. This is my dude. He is under my orders to save Hyrule. My dude. And then these two Roddies here. The first sign says, I'm an asshole. I pushed open the oven and ate 4 pounds of ham Mom cooked for her job. The other sign says, I helped him.
Look, food is food.
Dog. Yeah, and dogs do be like that. They want that ham.
Yeah.
Ham do be delicious. But I guess in terms of other shonen anime, after Dragon Ball, what would be one of your favorites? I guess we can talk about that while you're finding more memes.
Oh, you want me to find more memes? Yes, I just wanted to
Yeah.
chill, but
Yeah.
yeah. All right. But hey, I haven't like seen any other shonen.
Aside from Dragon Ball?
Nope, I am not. I am not like one person who would watch like.
So it's the only anime you've like. Well, what other Oh, I guess Nate had to mute.
Sorry, parents. But again, oh yeah, the only other anime I've like watched are properly are Cells at Work,
Mhm.
which is
What is that?
Cells at Work.
Cells and
Cells.
Work. What is? Oh, Cells
Cells
at Work. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I wouldn't call it
With,
a shonen. I would call that
What is Cells at Work? Is it slice of life?
kinda. I mean, yes. I would call it.
Yeah, let's look this up. Cells at Work.
Slice of life is a bit more of danger.
Oh shit! Netflix is making a live-action series for it.
No.
Because of course they are.
No, that has to be a joke. Come on.
Nope, I'm seeing a trailer for
What
it.
in the flip? How? Okay, look, if they would actually like have it as a full-on like biology documentary under a microscope, then yeah. But if you're gonna have like CGI microbes and actors playing the blood cells, like don't call that like live action. No. You gotta go microscopic or else.
But based on the Wikipedia article, it's classified as shonen anime.
How? That's not. No, that's wrong. It's like compared to the other shonens I've heard about. It's not.
Again, shonen is for, like I said, ages 5 to 12 typically. So again, it's very it's kid friendly anime effectively, at least for Japan's standards.
Wait, so it doesn't have to be just like like Dragon Ball, like Naruto, like
no.
One Piece.
No, not at all.
Okay, then I guess fine. All right, yeah, then it's shonen.
Yeah. But let's see. There's shonen anime, there's shoujo, which is girls and young women, and then there's seinen, which is young adults and adult men, and josei anime, which is adult women, which if I had to guess is probably light novels and more like slice of life stuff, but with more complicated themes.
No,
Josei I hadn't even heard of.
not me either.
It's Josei, which is, like I said, I think it's more for, like I said, it's for adult women and thus more complicated concepts. But do you have your memes yet?
I don't. I'm not much like, or maybe meh. Anyways,
Find some.
but I also wanted to say the flip. Yeah, that the other like anime that I watched is well, okay. I would say that Dragon Ball Z Abridged and Dragon Ball Daima are different. They definitely are. But
For sure. I mean,
but I guess they are still like, both like shonen maybe.
Well, Dragon Ball Z Abridged, yes, is a parody of a shonen anime. And then Daima is definitely
Mhm.
shonen because again, it's for the same manga series and everything. Oddly, now we have 2 Dragon Ball series that have not had a prior manga, both Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Daima, which is pretty, I guess, showing how magnetic Dragon Ball's power and sort of orbit really is, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right. Oh, and you put yours in again that general
Yeah.
chat. Okay, so which is the bigger flex? Like for AirPods, retreat for Witch Boy Winston on Route 107, using a full restore on his level 7 Zigzagoon. I guess that's, yeah, I think that's Ruby and Sapphire, where, yeah, I think I remember getting that Rich Boy Winston
Mhm.
using a full restore, that early on. It's like full restores in Pokemon are pretty fucking expensive
Yeah.
in terms of Poke dollars.
So yeah, literally rich, the rich boy. Yeah.
Back up to my memes.
Nice.
The voice. So it's this weird shadow creature thing. These toys are so these toys are so cute, but I'm too old for this, and it's not my style. What the? For you. Yes.
Oh,
I
cute.
think that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, and then there's this guy. Love, where's the trash can? Under the sink. Wait a minute. I'm not married. Aha!
Raccoon.
It's a raccoon wanting the trash can. That was pretty good. But all right, we'll wrap this one up. I know
I
it's
have.
a little shorter than
Yeah,
the.
I have.
Oh, you
I
got
have.
more?
I have one more in the chat, and I am so
more?
curious if
Okay.
you'll if you'll get it.
Ash holding up one finger, and then 2, 2, 1. 1, 2, 2, 1. 1221. No, I don't. I don't get this one. And
Lost that JPEG.
Huh?
Lost that JPEG.
I still don't get it.
You don't know the lost meme?
No.
You don't. Oh my stars! Oh my stars!
Lost.
I actually get. Search it up. Search it up. Lost meme.
Yeah, I'm curious now. Lost
Yeah.
meme. That's what it is. Lost
Yeah.
meme. Control Alt Delete.
Mhm.
So it's by Control Alt Delete, and it shows him coming to the hospital. And then am I?
I don't get it either.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
But basically,
Yeah, I don't get this, Nate. Why was 1, 2, 2, 1
So it
Just
looks like it's about
Oh, I think I get it now. Okay.
miscarriage.
Or death, because I think, yeah, and I guess the 1221 is based on how the people in the
yes.
comic art starts with one person, then two people, then two people, and then one person.
It's actually like,
Okay.
it's meant to be
Okay.
like one line straight, like upwards, and one line horizontal to show the line down,
Okay.
person.
Okay.
And also it became a
Yeah,
meme because like the webcomic like up to that point was just, just like a haha gaming stuff, and it hasn't like, had any build up to was that JPEG. So, people were just like, what
right.
the fuck? And started
And it
memeing the
just
shit
kind of
out of it.
happened.
And it's still going.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really look at Control Delete when it came out. I kind
Me
of
either. I just,
skipped over that.
I didn't
Yeah.
even really.
I guess it just became a meme though,
Yeah.
that part.
Exactly, the
Okay.
pattern.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna. How hot is it outside? Because it's pretty hot. It's 89 degrees outside. It's whether or not Morocco can tolerate an 89-degree run or not.
I would not torture our animal for that.
Yeah. Wait till this evening to run him. Okay. All right. Then stream will be in a little bit.
Yeah, funny.
I think some of the memes we got were funny.
1, 2, 1 horizontal line.
No, the dog one. Yeah, I guess you missed that one. But anyways,
The one that
no, I shared this dog one. Let me scroll back up to it. It's these two Rottweilers. Here, let me show it to you.
Dog shaming.
Yeah, it's a dog shaming one. Scrolled too far. Here we go. This is the one I shared.
Yeah, that's cute, and you don't have to explain it.
Yes. But all right, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Nate, go ahead and do our closing.
Goodbye, pebbles across all platforms. This has been the Idiots Podcast.
And we close out the video recorder.
I think you should review memes before they're here.
Maybe.